Hello, welcome to Season 11 of The Horrific Podcast. We're two friends who live in different places but share a love for scary movies. This season, in each episode, we will not both watch the same movie on our own and then record a conversation together about it later. We have 10 previous seasons of doing exactly that, and it's time for something new. This season, each episode will focus on a larger horror topic, trend, or maybe even rumor. We'll speculate about upcoming movies, debate genre definitions, and do our best to apply the perspective of two people who have watched way too many horror movies to different types of horror media. Thanks for coming along for the ride. So we had a recommendation for this week.
It feels good, dude.
Yeah, it's nice when we get recommendations that we're excited about because it means that we don't have to think as much. Mm-hmm. And then if it ends up being a bad episode, we just blame the person that made the recommendation.
Yeah.
So it's freedom from thinking and right. Freedom from blame.
And I'm pretty sure I told them that too. Like, we like getting recommendations because we don't like to have to think. And I don't think I said we put the blame on them.
Yeah.
But like, that's unspoken. That's fine print.
Yeah.
But we have like a really good track record of people requesting that we review something and we liked it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think most of the time. And I think some of that is just because we didn't have to pick it, so we go into it with a better mood.
I agree. No, I really think that has something to do with it.
Yeah. But this week we are going to do another first episode of a horror TV series and kind of talk about how that works, doing it in a TV episode as opposed to like a full movie, and kind of some similarities and dissimilarities, the genres that it goes into, and all of that. So this kind of fits into our season 11. We're exploring other media than movies that are horror inspired, and we are going to dig into the first episode of Masters of Horror.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, shout out Nick for this, because if you didn't recommend it, I don't know if I would have watched this series.
Which makes no sense, because how was this not already on our radar?
Right. And the other thing too was like the cool thing about the recommendation was it was like, hey, I know that you guys are doing this on your season 11. This could fit in. Like it was like, you did more work than we do on this, and it was, yeah. So shout out, man. That was fantastic.
I would really like it if more listeners did our job for us better than we do it.
Right. Exactly.
So keep
Who
up the
wants
good work.
to edit?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so the idea or the origin story of Masters of Horror is that in 2002, director Mark Garris, and I'm just reading directly from Wikipedia, so you don't have to, invited some director friends to an informal dinner at a restaurant in California. And the people originally there were like John Carpenter and Guillermo del Toro and Tobe Hooper, and a bunch of other people who I don't know as well. And then they had a really good time. Sounds like probably got pretty tipsy and really enjoyed it. And then Garris started organizing regular dinners of groups of like horror and other like genre directors. So Dario Argento, Eli Roth, Wes Craven, David Cronenberg, Rob Zombie, like all these names that we've read over and over in our, previous episodes where we do the deep dives on movies. A bunch of them have been in attendance of these over time. The group kind of at one point started calling themselves the Masters of Horror, and then eventually out of this came an idea for an anthology TV series of basically 1 hour movies where each of those guys would direct an episode. And so it's not like American Horror Story or Haunting of Hill House where you have like the same characters and the same kind of general premise through the whole season. It's more just kind of all over the place, and each director getting to do a creative, interesting thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, what they did was decide, hey, let's make another Twilight Zone.
So, yeah, definitely was going to bring up that comparison.
Mm-hmm.
There's absolutely, I feel like, a Twilight Zone vibe
mm-hmm.
to a lot of these, whereas they all are kind of like these self-contained stories with an interesting twist at the end that also kind of try to mess with you psychologically.
Yeah.
But also, I'm just kind of generally encouraged by the origin story on this one. Because I feel like it's just kind of like how you want to envision life being. Like all your heroes are just friends that hang out and make stuff together. It's like Avengers for nerds.
I mean, I would say like, because nerds are into Avengers.
Well, okay, horror nerds. Another thing that was a really positive outcome of this was that I used Tubi for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Samesies.
And I've been making fun of it. I've been making fun of it for a while, saying that all the good names for apps got taken by 2016, and now they're just throwing out any collection of 4 letters. And Tubi was one that I made fun of. It's actually a damn good service. I was quite impressed with my experience.
Yes, samesies.
But yeah, so in general, this, to your point, reminded me, it's like similar vibes to Twilight Zone. Not so much in like production or acting as in like short psychological and kind of trying to do like an unseen twist at the end, which I thought was good. The first episode that we watched was called Incident on and Off a Mountain Road.
Yep.
And one of the first things I had in my notes was that it reminded me of Wrong Turn in both premise and visuals.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that for sure. I think, for me, all I could think about was Vegas Vacation.
Because of the intro driving scene?
Ethan Embry plays Russ in Vegas Vacation.
Okay.
That thing you do, he plays bass. And I was like, oh, there he is. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that it was like the very classic horror setup for the intro, like a girl driving alone out away from everything. Sign says no gas for next 75 miles, long shots of the empty road and forest, and then a car crash. It's like, yeah, okay. These are experienced horror veterans making the moves here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it allowed so starting out like that, I like starting off with a bang. Mm-hmm. It allowed for, I feel like, some of the surprises that you find out throughout the series or throughout the episode.
Yeah.
Which is just smart.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, for sure. And so in general, I thought the story on this one was really good. I enjoyed the twist. I did not think that the acting or the filming were great. So it was almost, but it almost felt like appropriate. Like if the horror directors were like also picking if they were also involved in like the making of the movie, then it's kind of like appropriate that it would be like unknown actors, bad acting, and dumb dialogue, just because that's like every movie we watch.
Right.
But I liked the overall story a lot.
Yeah, I think for me, it was one of those things where sometimes we make the comments like, well, maybe they couldn't afford the filming or better filming techniques because they were paying for the actors. Mm-hmm. But being that it was all kind of not well-named actors, I was just kind of confused a little bit with it. But it didn't like take away from the story for me.
No, I maintain that this movie felt right on like the grainier kind of footage. Kinda like I think that was a good stylistic element for it.
Reminded me of like an adult version of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
I had the same thought, actually. Yeah.
Like, just because like they were all recorded, it seemed like up in the Northwest, and it seemed like this was kind of the same thing with the storm and all that, or with the roads and the crash and where they crashed at. It just felt like it.
Yeah, and there were some things that didn't seem super pro. Like there's early on when the guy is like chasing the girl through the woods, and there's like some storm sound effects, but they seem kind of far away. And there's not like any intense music or anything. It just seems very muted. And it was almost like the production didn't really support like the feeling of the scene.
Yeah.
There were other examples later where it was like better, but there were a couple times early on where I was like, am I even supposed to be worried right now? Like what's going on? But I felt like the visuals were pretty good.
Yeah, so, I edit videos, and what I kind of thought with that, because I caught on to the same thing, was I wonder if the editor, was like, hey, what if we added, like, this sound here, and the director, producer, whoever was like, we'll come back to that. And then they forgot and they
They
never
just
came
didn't come
back to it.
Yeah,
And it was like,
yeah.
cause it did sound like funky,
Mm-hmm.
That's just what I kind of thought too, cause it was the same kind of situation. Like, I remember watching it like during where it was supposed to be intense and you're like, it's not necessarily, but I don't know if it's because she's kind of prepared for this or not, so it was more kind of a little confusing.
Yeah.
But
then it definitely could pull off crazy intense scenes when it wanted to.
Yeah.
Like when they're in the cabin and he flips the switch and all the police lights and sirens turn on, and then he's like strapping the other girl to the table and lowering the drill down into her eye.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
That was freaking insane.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That was crazy intense. I did not expect a thing that was made for TV to go that hard.
Mm-hmm.
I was very, almost shocked by it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that must have been like something that they talked about at the round table. Like,
yeah,
let's do legit horror. Let's not PG-13 this if we can't.
Yeah. So I went ahead and watched more episodes of this. Like, I think I watched the first 4, and I kind of got the feeling that like the directors, there had to be this feeling of like one-upsmanship almost. You know what I mean? Like everybody is like, I'm doing this project with these other people whose work I like admire and respect. And so I'm coming to the table trying to make a splash. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to go all out for this.
Yeah.
And I think that's similar to like if you were in a band playing with like other bands that you liked and thought were good. When you get up there on stage, like you want to play the best you can. Like you want there to be like that mutual respect. And so I kind of wondered if they just kind of fed each other on that front.
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I would do the same exact thing. That's why I always like to go second. I want to know where we're going to be. Like how high do I need it? Like intensity level. Yeah.
I did not care for the second episode of this, but we don't have to talk about that. Really? But the fourth one was by Dario Argento. Mm-hmm. And that one, I felt like the overall quality of like the execution of it was way higher. Had a ridiculous amount of like unnecessarily graphic sex scenes.
Oh.
For some reason.
Okay.
But it just as far as like the music and sound and everything that they used with it, I thought the pacing, like all that, it was, of the 4 that I watched, probably the best made.
Yeah.
But this one I think was probably the most horrific to me of the 4.
Yeah. Katie's gonna be like, why are we doing another episode of this? And I'm like, Daniel just said we had to watch episode 4.
He said episode 4 is necessary.
He's like, well, we gotta watch next. And then like right before we record, actually we're doing it on this.
Well, and he said we couldn't use notes this week, so we've just got to watch this one probably 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. I definitely like, I love the concept of what they did, cause, there is like a part of, competition that, I feel like a lot of successful people have to enjoy the competition or crushing the competition.
Yeah.
But, in this, it's like, let's all get together and come up with some pretty rad ideas, so I really like that. It makes me feel good. And
then we all benefit. So, and I feel like with horror too, that's like, it's a genre where you were allowed to be so creative.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what we like about it. And then for people to be in an environment where they're just like pushing each other, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, one question I did have for you on this was, how far in was it before you just started feeling bad for the bad guy?
I mean, I felt like I kind of knew when she started hearing like his lessons.
That she was going to turn it around.
Yeah, like, cause like you start hearing some of this and you're like, oh, it was a little confusing. Maybe I wasn't paying attention enough, but I was like, wait, what? Oh, that's where it's coming from. And then like it has you rooting for her ex-husband.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that was probably when, and I thought to myself like, man, they're making such a big point about like her training.
Yeah.
That she has to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I just, you think about what was the movie like from the experience of the monster?
So who's a real monster?
It's like he's just out minding his own business, trying to do some murder,
Mm-hmm.
and she was, one, setting him up for failure, but two, purposefully hurting him a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was setting Home Alone traps all over the woods.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I mean, you know, like she was the real, like she had a higher body count than he did over the course of the film.
Yeah. Well, it's for damn sure, actually. And the truth of it is, it's almost like, you know, an onion, right? So there's layers to this security that she has. Yeah. And so she's like setting these traps and everything. That's what you do in real life.
Yes, naturally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was proud of her. Yeah. Honestly, you know, I tend to be a little hard on people in survival situations.
Yeah.
Because I've never been in one, and I feel like I could do better than them.
Yeah, right. It's just like how I am with football when I'm telling you what all those players should be doing.
Yeah, yeah, for both of us, really.
Played. Yeah.
But you know, she did it right. She knew what she was doing. Yeah. Kudos to her on that. What was your thoughts, like, with the villain of this, with, what was it, Moonface? Like, what was your thoughts with that actual villain?
In my notes, it was, he looked like Pinhead without the pins.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I liked him because he looked very, like, intimidating and scary without being too over the top. Like, it was a thing that you could look at and not be like, oh, the special effects didn't pull off what they were trying to do, so now I'm, like, out of it. Mm-hmm. I also liked that there was really no, like, backstory or trying to explain it, because I couldn't come up with one that wouldn't have sounded stupid. Mm-hmm. So the fact that he was just, like, there and very present, and that he just, you know, he's just like this dangerous force, mm-hmm. more so than, like, a character they tried to develop, I think was a good move for only having an hour to tell the story.
Yeah, and I was kind of wondering, because I know that this is based off that short story, and so I was kind of wondering, like, if it was explained more there, but I didn't really want to know either. I kind of liked the mystique of it. The only main thing, I kind of had two thoughts with them, was kind of a wimpy weapon, you know, with the knife.
Yeah.
And then also, like, who was the dentist that put those caps in?
Right.
That's what I was kind of wondering.
Yeah.
But you had to have that because it would look too, I don't want to say realistic because his face was definitely busted, but like.
He just had this like perfect Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. Like maybe if it was rotten, it would have made a little bit more sense, or like black. Yeah. But anyway, regardless, like I was cool with it. I liked the mystique of it. I like not knowing where, I feel like once you, and I've said this, but once you know where a villain, everything about him, it's like, not nearly as bad.
Yeah, because like you had no idea what he was really capable of. Like exactly. if he even could die,
right?
For example, or you know, like how strong is he, or the mystery of it and the intimidating look of it, I think were pulled off well and fit the story.
Yeah.
But you know what I didn't like about this?
Uh-oh.
There's a whole lot of eye stabbing. And I have an eye doctor appointment tomorrow.
Ooh. With Dr. Moonface?
God, I hope not. But as I'm sitting there watching this, I'm just like, can I cancel this appointment? Like, can I push this back a little?
Yeah.
Because I got this little like thing going on health-wise, and there's like a chance I might have to get a shot in my eye. And I've like lost sleep thinking about that.
Yeah.
And then we watch this freaking show. Mm-hmm. And whether it's scissors or a drill or whatever, it's just like, okay, cool. Yeah, no, we're good. I don't need another scene. Nope. Okay. Yeah, well, at least there won't be any more eye stabbing in this episode. No.
Yeah.
So yeah, I might die tomorrow, or I might throw up, or I might run away
Well,
and cry.
I think I just figured out the plot twist of our life. Nick, are you his eye doctor?
Oh my God.
If so, and you do drill his eyes out, that's going to be the best. I mean, that's terrible. But that'd be a really good, like, plot twist.
We would definitely, trend on Reddit.
Probably. At least for like 12 hours. Yeah. The whole eye thing definitely got to me. I will say, like, when they numb your eye, you don't feel the shots, for the record. Just to help you out with the situation.
But now I feel like you're just saying that to make me feel better, and I can't trust it.
Well, no, I probably wouldn't do that. I totally did that. I've tried. But it's like one of those, it's like a nails on a chalkboard thing.
Yeah.
You know, with eyes. You know,
Yeah.
your eyes have like their own immune system, I was reading about, for the record. Like, it's just crazy. And so you start drilling out eyes, I would lose it. I feel like if that were, I mean, obviously if that were to happen, you're dead, but
yeah.
Because he drilled too far.
Yeah.
Set a mark on the drill bit.
Yeah, naturally.
But yeah, that scene where he's like you were talking about, where he flipped the switch and police sirens, all that stuff going off. It reminded me of the scene in Insidious where he goes to like the main bad guys, and he's like up on the second floor, and like, I don't know if he's playing organ or whatever he's doing. For some reason it reminded me of that, which I was cool with.
Kind of made me think about Nothing But Trouble.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that would have been, that's better. Yeah.
Are we going to start an early 90s comedy podcast?
Probably. Be right at home. What did you think about, I mean, let's get into the deets.
Yeah.
Did you see the dead husband in the trunk coming?
That took me by surprise.
Me too.
When she made it back. Yeah, it legit, in my notes had all caps, great twist.
Yeah.
I do kind of wish the episode had ended there, though.
Same.
Like,
well,
I didn't really need any of the stuff after that. Like, I feel like that was such a good, like, grand reveal, and it caught me by surprise. I just didn't need anything after that.
I think if you want to have like 100% freedom at the end, right? So these people make it out, and they're set as far as like legality goes or their life goes. Like, she's 100% set, right? Because she got answers. Because otherwise, she made it back to the car, sweet, but there's a dead body in the trunk. I guess she could have said, I didn't do that.
No, I mean, I just, like, I'm glad that what happened made sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't need any more.
I see.
You know what I mean? I feel like that would have been like, and boom, we're done. Holy crap. What just happened? You know, like, yeah.
Well, but she needed her extra revenge on her ex-husband for doing.
No, I get it. I get it.
You know, God dang.
I get it. I would have done it too. I'm just saying.
Off camera, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have let it all happen in your mind.
But see, that's why you're good with the eye doctor, though, because you haven't done anything bad. Have you?
Bring that up again, don't you?
Oh, God. Yeah. Overall, though, I was super happy with this episode. I'll be honest with you. Like, I felt like I had a nitpick for the podcast, but like, I had no beef with it.
Oh yeah, I'd totally like recommend this episode to people. I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think genre-wise, subgenre-wise, it was definitely like slasher with a little bit of paranormal,
right.
But very much like in our bag as far as what we want out of a horror movie.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Bad guy. I kind of like when they don't die, but you never know. I haven't watched any more. Maybe Moonface makes a return. Who knows?
You never know.
It'd probably be a prequel.
Yeah. And that's it for today's episode. If you've listened this far, then thank you, and we hope you've enjoyed it. We're always looking for new ideas, so if you have any questions, comments, or movie suggestions, please send us an email at thehorrificpod@gmail.com, or feel free to comment on or message our Facebook page. Just search for The Horrific Podcast. Thanks for listening.